This is that magical time of year when families gather together, where laughter fills the house, when our elders might be getting slightly annoyed at the youngins for being so loud in their joy and excitement. But it's a time when we typically make new memories with our loved ones. But when someone that you love is no longer here with us in the physical realm, the silence in those moments can be deafening. You might find yourself missing their voice, missing their hug, their favorite meal, or just any of the small ways that they made this season feel complete. If you've lost someone, I want to honor the depth of that loss. And I also want to remind you that your grief is not wrong. It's not something to be ashamed of. What it really is love. All the love that you had allocated to that person is now searching for somewhere to go. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Kepra Sankara. I'm a trauma release facilitator helping you to reconnect with your whole self, your body, your mind, and your spirit, because healing really begins when every part of you feels safe. In today's video, I'm going to be guiding you through a series of gentle movements, sound, and reflection to help your body release some of what it's been holding on to. Now, this is an important note, disclaimer. This is not therapy. I am not a licensed psychotherapist, and this video is not meant to be a replacement for that specific professional care and counsel. I am fascinated with and very well read on the subject of psychology and trauma specifically, but I specialize and am an expert in somatic release, breathwork, yoga, embodied movement, meditation, massage, sound therapy, energy work, and story work. The work that I do is best and most effective in conjunction with traditional therapy. So this is certainly a safe, compassionate space to reconnect with your body, your heart, and your breath. But that had to be said. So with that said, I want to get started with a bit of education on how grief lives in the body. When we lose someone that we love, that pain doesn't stay contained in the heart. It spreads throughout the whole system. Your body, mind, and spirit all begin speaking the language of loss. In the book, The Body Keeps the Score, neuroscientist and psychiatrist Dr. Bessel van der Kolk reminds us that emotional pain doesn't vanish just because time passes. It imprints itself on the nervous system. So your body remembers what your mind doesn't have the capacity to hold all at once. That might physically look like your shoulders curling forward, maybe your breath becoming shallow, or even your heart beating differently. And those are signs that your body is quietly carrying the energy that you couldn't quite put words to express and release just yet. The reason for this lives in our biology, in our nervous system, through what Dr. Stephen Porges calls the polyvagal response, which is constantly scanning for safety. When somebody that we love dies, that sense of safety can collapse. Suddenly, the world feels unpredictable. Our bodies can tighten, our sleep changes, our energy can just kind of flatline. Sometimes we can feel restless and agitated, and other times we can feel completely numb. And both ends of the spectrum are natural responses of a dysregulated nervous system. Dr. Peter Levine, the founder of Somatic Experiencing, explains that healing doesn't just happen by pushing away the grief or by forcing ourselves to be still too soon, which is what we tend to do, right? We just isolate ourselves and feel all of the painful emotions on a loop. But healing happens when we allow our body to gently complete the stress cycles that were interrupted by the shock or sorrow of that loss. Through movement, through breath, through trembling or shaking, through sound, and then finally stillness. Grief researchers like Dr. Robert Niemeyer have shown that healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means reconstructing meaning. So in this case, that means carrying forward the love in new ways rather than being trapped in the cycling of thought of what was lost. I've used what I've learned from these pillars in the trauma healing field to help develop the basis of my trauma release programs and sessions, and I'd like to share a practice with you today. I always like to give clients an overview before we begin so they know what to expect, and so that's what I'll do here. I find it useful to start by checking in with ourselves just to note our baseline. Then we'll get into some gentle movement to encourage more flow in our energy system and to allow our bodies the opportunity to speak. Next, we'll do some somatic grief release breath work to create more space within ourselves and to produce the environment for our bodies to release some of that stored up pain and grief. After which, we'll rest in a sound bath to soothe our nervous system a bit more. And finally, we'll do some reflective writing to give the mind the language for what the heart is trying to express. If you need a moment to gather yourself and your comfort items, you can pause the video here and go find an open space on the floor, on your bed, on a couch. Get yourself a journal, something to write on, your water, your tissues, whatever you need to feel comfortable and prepare to move some energy and emotion through your body. Let's begin by sitting up tall and take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale through the mouth with sound, a sigh, a whisper, whatever wants to come out. We're going to do that 2 more times. Deep inhale through the nose. Open your mouth and let the exhale out of your mouth. Again, deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. And I invite you to notice what's present with you in this moment. What physical sensations are present? Notice what thoughts arise in your mind as your awareness lands on these sensations. Notice what underlying emotions are forming the backdrop of this experience. Now I invite you to roll the shoulders forward and back. Forward and back. Forward and back. Feel the tension between the shoulder blades where grief tends to settle in. Now extend your arms out in front of you like you're trying to grasp something that's just out of reach. Reach, 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 reach. And here you can kind of round the shoulders forward so we can really affect those trapezius and rhomboids, the muscles in between your shoulder blades and spine. So we're going to reach, reach, reach slightly, rounding the spine here. Good. Inhale, sit up tall. You can bring your arms up overhead. And as you exhale, lower your arms out to either side of your body so that your arms are perpendicular to your torso. You might notice some heaviness in the chest here. We're just going to breathe into that space. Now you can extend your arms slightly out behind you, still at about shoulder height. Gently stretch your deltoids and pectoral muscles, the muscles in your shoulders and chest, which tend to get shortened when the grief postures our body in a more contracted form and our shoulders rolled forward. So we're going to counteract that by swinging both arms forward in front of you and your chest, crossing the center line of your body, allowing one arm to swing above the other. And then you're going to swing them back, keeping your arms roughly at shoulder height. So we're going to do this for about 15 to 20 seconds. And I like to alternate which hand goes on top. Remember to breathe. Now we're going to extend our arms up above us, reaching up, 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 lengthening your spine. And now fold forward, bringing your hands down to the floor in front of you or the bed or whatever support you have in front of you. And lower your head, drop your head, and release your neck. You could take this moment to check in with yourself again. What's present in your body, in your mind, in your spirit at this moment? We're going to stay in this position for about 5 to 10 deep breaths. We're going to bring some movement into our arms, shaking our arms out as we come back up into a seated position on the next exhale. Shaking out your arms. You can shake out your hands and wrists, letting your fingers flutter. And allow your hands to land on your knees. Now we're going to sway from side to side, feeling the base of your body grounded in the support beneath you. To feel more a sense of support and gentle structure in the movement. Swaying your torso from one side to the other. Now we're going to place your left hand down on the floor and reach your right hand over your head, reaching over towards the left, creating a slight bend in your torso. Reach, 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 lengthening your back muscles, your latissimus dorsi, your serratus anterior, your intercostal muscles, the muscles in between your ribs, just creating more space for you to breathe and releasing some lower back pain. And I invite you to experiment with movement here gently so you can slowly and gently sway forward and backward with the right arm and torso. And just notice how that feels in your body and breathe into that sensation. And now slowly reach that right arm to the front and over to the right, placing it down on the floor right next to your hips, about a foot away from your hips, and swinging that left arm up and over your right arm. Doing the same thing on the other side, creating space in your lower back, in between your ribs, allowing you to breathe more deeply. And again, I invite you to kind of sway forward and back, experimenting with the movement here. Noticing how that feels in your body. Good. Inhale, then you're going to sit up tall, bringing both arms up, reaching your arms up above your head. You might look up if that feels good for you. Deep inhale. And exhale, fold forward, bringing your hands down to the floor or the support beneath you, dropping your head, releasing your neck. And we're going to rest here for 5 deep breaths. Be gentle with yourself. Give yourself some grace. As you take your next inhale, we're going to sit up. And with the exhale, lean your torso back and use momentum to shift your body weight forward, landing on your hands and knees, coming into a tabletop position. So you're going to send your feet out behind you. And on the inhale, you're going to arch your spine, look up. And with the exhale, round the spine, pushing away from the mat, pushing away from the earth. Again, inhale, arching the spine, looking up. Exhale, rounding the spine, pushing away from the ground. And now slowly lift your torso up, rising onto a kneeling position. And you can Curl your toes under your feet to give your body more support and stability as we move into the next posture. So take a deep inhale, and you're going to shift your pelvis forward while arching your spine back. Reach back and grasp your ankles behind you. Here you can also use a couple of yoga blocks or hardcover books on either side of your body instead of grasping your ankles to make this posture a little more accessible. Dropping your head, releasing your neck, opening up your chest, taking a deep breath. We're going to stay here for 3 more breaths. Inhale. Come back up into an upright position. Bring your arms up overhead. And with the exhale, you're going to lower your hips towards the heels as you lower your hands towards the ground. Drop your head towards the mat or the floor or the bed, wherever you are. And just allow yourself to relax and release in this position. If it feels good for you, you can spread your legs so that your hips fall in between your heels. And just rest here for 5 to 10 deep breaths. Take this moment to check in with yourself again. What's present in your being in this moment? Do you notice any subtle shifts? Become aware of even the tiniest physical, mental, or emotional shift taking place within you, without judgment of what it should or shouldn't be. Just strive to acknowledge your state of being with presence and neutrality. Now, I invite you to imagine roots spreading into the earth beneath you, reaching the stability underneath the sorrow. Grief may live in the heart, but release begins in your base. It begins in grounding, in giving yourself permission to be supported by the earth. Now inhale back up into a seated position. You can adjust yourself as necessary for comfort. You may bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly and whisper or say to yourself mentally, I am safe. I am safe to feel. I am safe to heal. Sit with that for a moment. You may gently begin to move your torso, maybe in circles or waves, slow movements as if you're stirring a pot of energy. This doesn't have to be perfect. There's no right or wrong way to do this. This is just about honesty and listening to your body, listening to how your body wants to move in this moment. Going slowly, moving gently. If tears come up, that's okay. Let them come, let them flow. It's your body's intelligence releasing what words couldn't reach. You may find a comfortable position that you can maintain for the next several minutes with minimal or no movement. And you may gently close your eyes if that feels safe and comfortable. Before we move into stillness and sound, we're going to use the breath as a bridge. Grief often lives in the chest, the throat, the belly, all the places where the breath naturally wants to go quiet or get shallow. We're not going to force anything here. We're just going to create the space to give the body permission to feel, to soften, and to release at its own pace. You may begin by placing one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. If that doesn't feel right, you can just rest your hands wherever feels safest. We'll start with a slow nasal inhale and a long audible exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose to a count of 4. Exhale through the mouth to a count of 6. Make sure to let the exhale be longer than the inhale. That's what tells the nervous system you are safe right here, right now. Inhale in through the nose to a count of 4. Out through the mouth to a count of 6. You can continue at your own pace. If emotion begins to arise, that doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. That's just your body responding to being cared for and given the space to be listened to. Now we're going to shift into a grief-specific breathwork practice. This technique allows sorrow to move through your system without overwhelming you. So we're going to take a 2-part inhale through the nose, and then we'll be taking a long sighing exhale through the mouth. So let me describe that with a little better detail. So we're going to quickly inhale through the nose, pause ever so briefly at the top, then take a second sip of air through the nose, and then sigh out through the mouth. So it should sound something like this. So we're going to practice this technique nonstop for the next 4 to 5 minutes. If your mouth gets dry, which it might, just pause really briefly, take a swallow, take a sip of water, and then just get right back into it. Okay, so now we're going to try it together. Remember, it's 2 sips of air through your nose on the inhale and sigh the exhale out of your mouth. On the exhale, I invite you to imagine that you're releasing what you've been silently carrying. You don't need to name it. Your body already knows what it is. Okay, so let's begin. If your chest feels tight, just let the breath soften around the tightness, not through it. If tears come up, just let them come, just let them flow. If nothing comes up, that's fine too. You're not reliving the loss. You're allowing your body to digest and metabolize what it never got to release. Continue with the 2-step inhale, sigh, exhale. Now, as you inhale, I invite you to mentally say, I'm allowing. And as you exhale, you can mentally say, I release what no longer needs to be. Grief doesn't mean that you're weak. It means that your love had somewhere to go. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Deep exhale out the mouth. And now let your breath return to its natural rhythm. There's nothing more for you to do. Just allow yourself to rest. Just listen. Just notice. In a moment, you'll begin to receive sound. Just allow yourself to simply receive it. Relax your body a little bit more with each exhale. Just allow your body to soften and sink into the support beneath you just 1% more with each exhale. the vibrations do what your mind can't. As I begin to play these sounds, allow your breath to become easy, natural. Allow the sound to ground you in the present moment, to be a reminder that you are supported, that even in grief, you are held by the earth. As you follow the shift in frequency auditorily, bring your awareness to your heart space, both the physical organ and the emotional center. You may wish to place your hand over your heart if that feels supportive. And let this be an invitation to open this space for love. Not to erase your pain, but to let love flow freely again. Let every vibration ripple through your chest, your throat, your spine, your entire body. Take a deep breath in through your nose, creating space, inviting in fresh energy, cleansing your body. And exhale out of your mouth. We're going to do that 2 more times. Deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth and let it out, allowing your body to relax a little bit more, to sink into the support beneath you a little bit more with each exhale. One more time, deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, deep exhale out. Draw your awareness into the sound of the breath, into the sound of the ocean, of water cleansing, of tears that purify, of movement returning to places that felt frozen. Let the waves wash through your body, cleansing you. As the sounds fade, stay still for a moment. Feel your body. Notice what changed. Your breath, your heartbeat, the weight of your chest. If you have a journal nearby, this is your invitation to begin to write. Whatever is flowing from your heart, through your mind, let it come through your hand and onto the paper. Of course, you can pause the video and take your time. Here are a few prompts to guide you. Where in my body do I feel my grief most today? What memories of my loved ones surface during this time? What do I miss? And what do I still carry from them inside of me? If I could speak to them right now, what would I say? What is one way I can honor their memory and the lessons they taught me through the way that I live this week. There's no right or wrong answers. Just write what arises. Your body has already begun the process of release, so writing simply gives it a voice. I want to remind you that grief may not completely come to an end, but it can transform into something lighter and more beneficial to your life experience. Every breath, every movement that you've taken here today is an act of courage. So I want to say that I'm proud of you and that you should honor yourself for the courage that it takes to move out of any kind of trauma, grief, or depression. As you move through this season in your life, I want you to remember that you can love someone deeply and still choose to keep living fully. You can miss them and still make space for joy. You living your life with joy and peace does not mean that you didn't truly love them. And it doesn't minimize or devalue their memory or significance in your life. It honestly is one of the best ways to honor and uplift their memory and allow the best parts of them to live on through you. So know that your grief is sacred, and in time and with intention, it can become the soil in which new, rich, abundant, healthy life can grow. I want to thank you for allowing me to hold space with you today. If you found this practice helpful, please feel free to return to it whenever any waves of grief arise. Not to make them disappear, but to help them move through you with compassion and to be receptive to the message that they have to offer you. I've just launched a brand new weekly trauma release class, which will be held online, where I'll be helping you tackle one type of trauma or trigger every week. I'll be sharing information, education, resources, somatic tools, and practices that we will do together in class. So you don't just get the information and then say, oh, I'll do it later or tomorrow, whatever. No, we're going to break the cycle of procrastination and we'll be doing the practices together in class. So there's no excuse, and so that you have a guide to help you along the path. And also be a great way to be motivated by others showing up in the space with you, creating that sense of community, and to remind you that you're not on your own in this experience and you don't have to fight your way through it alone. I've had several people come to me for trauma release specifically related to grief this past week alone. So I decided that the first 4 weeks is actually going to be focused on understanding, coping with, and healing the wounds of grief from loss, whether that loss be the loss of a loved one to death, the loss of a relationship or a foundational life situation, or even the sense of loss of your identity. We'll be meeting every Monday evening to set the tone for the week and to give you tools for the week ahead. Again, we'll be learning somatic release techniques, breathwork, embodied movement, yoga, mindfulness. We'll be getting some sound therapy, doing reflective journaling and story work, and some other tools as well. This is an excellent addition to the work that you do in your therapy sessions with your counselor or your therapist that will help you not only intellectualize and understand your experience, but actually release the effects of it from your body. So if that sounds like something that you'll be interested in, you can go ahead and click the link in the description or in my bio, and I look forward to seeing you in class. If this helped you reconnect with yourself a little bit more, make sure that you subscribe and keep growing with me here. Every breath, every practice, every moment here is an invitation for you to remember who you are. Until next time, I see you, I love you, I am you, okay? You got this. Peace, love, and power.